Hello and welcome. I've got myself a new toy. I bought a wood turning lathe. It's a cheap and cheerful, just to have a go. Cheap and cheerful, 120 English pounds, so not quite so cheap, but compared to other lathes on the market, as a new lathe, very cheap. I'm going to put it down, it's quite heavy. So now, after that quick introduction, I'm going to skip you back to last week when it first arrived and I started to play. So to start with, I have a chunk of wood called a bowl blank. This is made from tulip wood. And I have my faceplate, this piece of metal from the lathe. I have to screw this faceplate onto my bowl blank. But first I have to work out how to make it dead centre in that piece of wood. Once I've fixed it on, I'll be able to unscrew this pointy bit from the lathe. Don't know what it's called. Then I can screw on this metal plate with its wood bowl blank attached. Ready to make something beautiful, I hope. I've come up with a plan of how to get my metal plate dead centre in this piece of wood. I'm going to use this clear plastic as a template that I can see through to mark where I need to put my screw holes. So first, to draw around my metal plate so I can get a disc of plastic exactly the right size. I also mark where the screw holes are in my metal plate. Then cut out the circle from my piece of plastic. Using my ruler, I use my screw hole dots to draw straight lines from one side of my circle to the other. Where these lines cross in the centre, I can line up with the already marked centre dot on my piece of wood. Matching up the centre dot on my piece of wood and the centre dot on my plastic film, I know exactly where to draw the circle into which I will place my metal faceplate. So now to line up the faceplate and screw it on nice and tight. Now there are 6 screw holes in my faceplate, but I've only got 4 screws, so 4 screws is what I'm going to use. Lovely, all screwed on nice and tight. Yay! Now to get it screwed onto that lathe. Using the 2 spanners that came with the lathe, I'm going to tighten it on nice and secure. I don't want that flying off when it's whizzing round at full speed. Next, manoeuvring my chisel rest into position. Lastly, this end piece slides along the lathe to help support everything and stop it moving around. Use this lever at the back to help lock it securely into place. Now to turn down the speed and switch on. Here we go! Oh no, helps if you switch the plug on. Let's try that again. Now I have 3 chisel options. I've got a bowl gouge that came with it. Has a curved fluted edge. And a straight edge blade. Chisely blade, I don't know what it's called. And I've treated myself, I bought this extra, which has this disc on the end, carbide tip. Now I've never done this before, so I want some nice thick gloves to protect my hands just in case of, well, just in case. So after all that preparation, here goes, let's make a start. Woo, exciting! Now I think things could be quite boring to watch, so I'm going to super speed up the video. If there's anyone out there watching who's used a lathe before, they will be horrified to see I am actually working on the floor with my lathe. It isn't screwed down or secured to anything. This is definitely not the way things should be done. I've chosen to wear some gloves to help protect my hand, though I'm not entirely sure what I'd be protecting them from. And with this fast spinning wheel of wood, wearing gloves is probably more dangerous than not. So this is definitely a video not to be copying. And no doubt my chisel choice and technique are completely wrong. This is my first ever go and I'm learning along the way. That's looking nice-ish, a little rough bit there, but I think that'll sand down. Okay, I want to put a little gouge in the end. Here I'm just going to carve out a shallow recess in the bottom of the bowl where that pointy wood support made a mark. Rather than leaving a dented hole, I'll have a properly cut little recess. Now for some sandpaper to make things really smooth and lovely. Okay, so lots of polishing and shining. I've got a beautiful shiny bowl. I've not oiled it yet because I need to stick this onto another bit of wood. And I think if I oil my bowl, I'm nervous my glues won't stick. So let's get it off of here. It's not quite a bowl yet. It's just the bottom of a bowl. I'll have all that wood to carve out of the middle before I can truly call it a bowl. Happy with it so far though. So now I've got my bowl. Ah, my treasure, no. So I've got my bowl and another piece of wood. So I'm going to screw this onto there. Once it's all screwed onto that square block of wood, I need to glue, using hot glue, my bowl onto the square. Tighten it up well, don't want that wood flying off. Now for a quick flash with the sandpaper, just to give a nice surface for the glue to stick. I suspect it would be better to make my square of wood into a round of wood, but I'm going to try it square and see how it works. Now for the fiddly bit and lining everything up perfectly so it's all centred properly on the lathe. I have learnt from other YouTube videos that if I rest the back of my bowl gouge on my piece of wood, if it stays nice and still, my wood is perfectly centred and smooth. If it bounces around or vibrates, then either the wood is not centred or the surface is not smooth. So now to use some hot glue and stick these two pieces of wood together. Okay, so now I'm nervous. I don't think it's going to fly off. If it does, it does. But I'm nervous that I've already made this lovely bowl. It's all nice back here, and I've got cut. There's a lot of wood to come out in the middle of here. Opportunity to make lots of mess ups. I'm scared. Right, let's bring my rest in. Where? I don't know. Will it go that way? Let's see. We'll start slowish. Here you will notice that as my lathe is not screwed down or secured to any work surface, I slowly start slipping away from you along the carpet. It seems a lot faster here because I've speeded up the video. It took me about 45 minutes to carve out the inside of this bowl. I'm sure it shouldn't normally take that long, but I'm learning. And at this point, I'm scared of spoiling things because it's going quite nicely so far. Well, I don't know how long you've not been recording for. I've just been sanding the bowl, and this is the stage we've got to. I'm going to put some oil on it. I don't know how much you've missed because I've only just noticed the camera was switched off. Probably missed everything since I moved you over there to that new angle. Carved out the inside. Anyway, let's get some oil. The oil I have at the moment is a mineral oil that I use for my chopping board in the kitchen. So I figure it'll do just nicely on here. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. Lovely. Now to see if we can get it off this wood block. Screw my oil up before I tip it all over the floor. Take it off. Craft knife, maybe? It certainly sticks really well. Could I get it hot and melty with the hairdryer? There's a thought. That might work to soften it. Like that. Yeah, I don't want to damage my bowl, that's the trouble. How do you get this off? Heat it up with a hairdryer? I don't know. Because it does stick super well, which is what you wanted it to do. Now I've got to get it off. My craft knife's in a right state. I'm sure I've got a better one somewhere. I'm aiming to cut the wooden block I stuck it on. I don't want to cut my beautiful bowl. Something's moving. Yes! Got my bowl off! Yay! All I'm going to do is work to get the glue off my bowl. I can do that carefully with a better craft knife and some heat. Oh, definitely the worst bit, trying to get the glue off. There we go. Got under it, it's coming. It's coming, it's coming. Go very slowly, I don't want to lift the grain and damage my bowl. Wow, that stuck so well. I was nervous about that. That's amazing. Right, it's a bit of sandpaper over the bottom. Oh, this is so chunky. Let's oil the bottom. Where's my oily rag? There we go. Well, folks, there I have it. My first ever bowl. Oh, and the mess I've got to clean up. Yay! Oh, now to clean up all this mess. My first ever bowl. It's beautiful. It's not that deep. Well, it's really, it's thick and chunky. Oh, I'm gonna love it for a lifetime. Yay! So as you see, I had great fun and was very pleased with my finished results of my little wooden bowl. But I did make a horrendous dusty mess. So I need somewhere to set myself up that I can make all that sawdusty mess and it not really matter. Yes, I'll want to clean up when I finished, but I don't want to be able to write my name on the tabletops around the house. I don't have an empty shed or workspace at the moment that I would not object to being covered in dust. But what I do have is this old greenhouse that hasn't been used since I got my polytunnel many years ago. It's just left empty and vacant. Dried grass on the floor and ivy growing through it. So it's had a bit of DIY. There was one broken pane of glass. I've replaced that temporarily with a sheet of hardboard wrapped in polytunnel plastic and clipped in just as you would a normal greenhouse pane of glass. So that's made me watertight in here. So everything's definitely going to stay dry. And I can make as much dust and mess as I like, and it really won't matter. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click that like button and let me know. Click subscribe and YouTube will make sure you see my next video. So bye for now, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it.